what's up?
Ashanti is one of the most unproblematic ladies in R&B with a gorgeous voice to match. It's crazy when you look back at some of these artists' careers and realize that they had so much more potential to do more in music, but they were sabotaged. Everything negative that has happened to Ashanti in her career has been at the hands of a man. Did her career take off? Absolutely, but all that glitters isn't gold. Ashanti had to deal with a lot of things while holding her head high. She's dealt with a lot because of the people around her. Her career took a halt at the hands of a man. She's involved in a rap beef because of a man. She was labeled difficult to work with because of a man. She was a young, beautiful woman that was making a lot of people successful while also being used as collateral. Ashanti has always been talented. Her parents seen the potential in their daughter at a young age. They invested in her, putting her in everything dance until one day they heard her sing.
Hey, I have to pay them to let me in here. What are you talking about? All right, now, so was it dancing? How?
Yeah, I was doing chores downstairs in the living room. My mom was like, don't listen to the radio, no television. She comes stomping down the steps flying. She's like, what was that? I told you no radio. I'm like, that wasn't no radio. That was me singing. Ooh. And she's like, what? Let me hear it again. So I sang, and it was Mary J. Blige's Reminisce. That's how we found out.
Ashanti began making her rounds around the music industry by appearing in a few music videos like KRS-One's MCs Act Like They Don't Know, as well as Adolph's Ghetto Girl. Eventually, she was noticed by a few huge record labels including Bad Boy and Jive, but those deals fell through until she was noticed by Irv Gottis for writing skills. Ashanti is one hell of a writer. She really should be commended more for her hooks. Irv Gottis noticed that first and was pushing for his brother Irv to start paying more attention to Ashanti.
At the time, Irv didn't want to do it. It's just the truth. It took me so many efforts to get him to listen to Ashanti even, because he was focused. Irv was like this, tunnel vision, Ja Rule, we're gonna kill everybody. Okay. If anyone knows Irv, when he gets the tunnel vision, you can't interrupt him.
Ashanti being a good writer, she also had a smooth voice to match. Before she started doing promo for her first album, she was collaborating with various artists connected to Murder Inc. Murder Inc. was launched in 1998. Chris and Irv were making rounds at Def Jam, helping artists like Jay-Z, DMX, and Ja Rule. Russell Simmons helped the brothers by giving Irv his own label, what we know as Murder Inc. Ja Rule became their first star artist, and they released their first album, Veni Vidi Vici. They had a hit single called Holla Holla, which went platinum and put the label on the map. Ja's second album, Rule 336, is when there was a significant shift in Murder Inc.'s sound. Irv decided to switch the sound from hardcore rap to radio-friendly bops with rap elements, resulting in a greater commercial success and a boost in the label's demographic, which began featuring more female listeners. This album debuted and peaked at #1 on Billboard 200 with 276,000 copies sold. This is when Ashanti comes in. Perfect timing. Ashanti was signed in 2001 when Murder Inc. was riding the success off of Ja Rule's 336 album. They accepted the musical shift of the label, and Ashanti was a fresh new sound. She was 21, she was easily marketable, young, beautiful, and talented, and one hell of a writer. Ashanti was first featured as a background vocalist on rappers Big Pun's song How We Roll. In the same year, Ashanti was featuring on her fellow label mate singles. She was featured on the Fast and Furious soundtrack and was slowly rising within the industry. The game changer for her was when she was featured on Fat Joe's What's Love and Ja Rule's Always on Time, two mega hit singles. Ashanti had a lot of eyes on her as she became the first lady of Murder Inc. She even caught the eyes of the CEO, Irv Gottis. Ashanti had been working with Murder Inc. for some time, but it's unclear what age their business relationship turned personal. But it's very clear that there was a huge age difference, Ashanti being in her late teens, early 20s, while Irv was in his 30s, Irv Gottis being married with children also.
I'm on my own, and Ashanti's coming to the studio every day, and our friendship and bond is naturally grown. And she used to wear these juicy sweats, and her ass was looking fat. Her ass was looking great.
Oh my God, he's such a perv.
One day, I was like, yo, I'll take you home. She said, bet, cool. I walk into a front door of a crib. She turns to say goodbye. And I just kiss her and grab her ass.
What? Oh my God.
It was like, what took you so long?
Ashanti became heavily involved with Irv throughout the making of her album. Ashanti's album is a classic. It's R&B pop gold, and on this album alone, Ashanti's career will never be forgotten because of the quality of her songs. Ashanti is a hit maker with a smooth centric voice. Her song Foolish is a classic single and set the stone for her success as a singer. Her other singles Baby and Happy were extremely popular also. Irv Gottis has a problem with Ashanti and he's been bickering about her for years. Out of all the females Irv was messing with, he fell for Ashanti the most. This would actually lead to the fall of Ashanti and her reputation because of Irv's possessiveness. Ashanti wasn't much of a big star yet before Irv began sleeping with her. During the making of the album, this is what Irv had to say about the creation of one of her hits, Happy, but Ashanti has a different story.
We're sleeping together or whatever.
Okay.
I'm in the shower. You know, be creative after. I think of the whole track in the shower. Yeah, I don't lie. I don't.
And she used to wear these juicy sweats, and I was looking fat. I was like, yo, I'll take you home. She said, bet, cool. We walk into a front door of a crib. She turns to say goodbye. And I just kiss her and grab her.
In the music industry, you have to fight for your work and songs. A lot of artists don't get credit for creating songs and lending their vocals off. It's a dirty business and very much common. Ashanti is a well-known victim of vocal theft. Jennifer Lopez is notorious in the music industry for not singing her own songs. She's been able to get away with vocal theft since her first album. It's not uncommon to use others' vocals, but in Jennifer's case, it's a part of her career. Ain't It Funny is a song that Ashanti uses in her setlist a lot. Even though it's labeled as a J-Lo song, Ashanti credits it as her own because she actually wrote and sang the song.
Is that your girlfriend? I got my boyfriend. Baby, I got my boyfriend. Is that your girlfriend? Well, maybe we can be friends.
I wrote a song for her and I also referenced I'm Real for her, and they left my background vocals on the record.
To the limit and I love it. Now I can breathe again, baby, now I can breathe again.
Before Ja and Ashanti became a double threat, J-Lo and Ja Rule had a chart-topping collab with I'm Real. Ja Rule wrote the song and Ashanti sung the demo that J-Lo used as her vocals and kept the background.
I need to know this from me. J-Lo's I'm Real. When you said, you wrote that, right?
No, Ja wrote
Ja
I'm
wrote.
Real. I wrote Ain't It Funny.
Okay. Now, did you sing the reference to it? Because I hear
Yeah.
you all over the song.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why didn't they take Ashanti off the song? Because I feel like you sang the whole song.
Well, I demoed the record for her. That was way, way back. That was before I was signed to Murder Inc. And they kept my hook. And, you know, they kept some of the backgrounds and ad-libs and stuff like that. And it was funny. It was a bittersweet because I was really excited because it was J-Lo. You know what I mean? But I was so mad at Irv because I was like, you know I wanted that record. I always, ever since I saw Friday, you know what I mean? Mary Jane. I was like, you give me that. I want that record. I was so mad, but I was happy at the same time because it was J-Lo.
If you listen closely to the single, you mainly hear Ashanti's vocals.
And the game done chose me ever since you told me. Now only God can hold me. I met so many men and it's like they're all the same. My appetite for loving is now my hunger pain.
That wouldn't be the last hit that Ja and Ashanti made. In 2002, they dropped Mesmerized for Ja Rule's album The Last Temptation. The song was received well and was a commercial success. Ashanti's infectious chorus will always make any song she released in the early 2000s a staple in an R&B playlist.
Your lips, your smile,
Love it when you kiss me, baby.
The next year, Ashanti released her second album, Chapter 2. This album would serve just as successful as her last album, debuting at number 1. She had the singles All Baby and Rain On Me being more of an intimate track.
Love you, babe. She's internally dying to know this was not what love's all about.
Ashanti at this time was one of the newest it R&B girls, and a lot of people wanted to work with her. Irv was her producer, and he dictated who she could and couldn't work with. Some of his decisions were based on having control over Ashanti's career, not to progress it. He limited her collaborations to the point some artists thought she was a diva and difficult to work with. Into You is another classic Ashanti feature, this time with rapper Fabulous. This song would serve as a commercial success that could have really helped Ashanti, considering Into You is Fabulous's most successful song. Tamia was supposed to do the song originally, but she had to have throat surgery, so they got Ashanti to do the song next. That's why her original vocals are on the CD version for the album. But when it was time to shoot the music video, Irv was being controlling and didn't want Ashanti to do the video. Tamia recovered and got her original spot back and shot the video. So the commercial success of the song is credited towards Tamia instead of Ashanti, even though they both received credit.
How this happened too, because there's a lot of like back and forth about how it was Tamia and Ashanti. Tamia is who the original song came from. Tamia was getting surgery on throat at the time when we did
the video and all that.
No, when we did the song.
Oh, okay.
So we got Ashanti to do the song because she was getting, and then when we did the video,
she was back.
She got her shit back together, and Ashanti was running all around because Ashanti was scorching, and a little bit Irv too. Shout out to Irv Gottis, you know what I mean? Irv, you know, you was supposed to make this happen, matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? But Ashanti was all over the place. Ashanti was scorching at this time, so she was all over the place, and we couldn't get a schedule-wise, we couldn't get the video, so we came back with Tamia, and she relayed the vocals after her throat surgery, and we made, so that's why it's two versions. There's Tamia version, and then there's Ashanti version. Both of them did their thing, and I appreciate both of them.
We appreciate all y'all. We love you, and we love your whole family.
On the Tamia and Ashanti on the Fab record, one was on the album, one was a single. What happened there?
So they asked to do the single, So Into You. I did it, and I think Fab and then they wanted me to shoot the video, and I think Irv, he kind of was on his, you know, he didn't want me to shoot the video. You know, I guess he felt like I was being oversaturated. So for them, business-wise, it's like, why would we have the single out with her and then not be able to shoot the video? Fair. And then I think that's when they got Tamia to shoot the video and then do the song. I really believe that is what happened.
Irv continued to involve himself in Ashanti's business, and it became unfavorable to Murder Inc.'s business. Irv kept himself busy by keeping track of Ashanti. He began to neglect his own label.
Well, recently on Drink Champs, he mentioned that him and Ashanti were having an affair while he was married.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see any of that? And did that create any sort of problems in Murder Inc.?
I mean, I think Irv's focus on Ashanti was interfering with Murder Inc. business. Like, if we're in London and we have a show, why is Irv here? Like, Irv should be back in New York in the office and facilitating, you know, all his other artists' albums. Like, he was coming on the road with us. So he was just like popping up everywhere. I'm like, you're popping out of the suitcase. Like, I look up and you're popping out the suitcase. I'm like, Irv's in London. What the hell is going on? So it was confusing. It's like, where's your focus? You know? So it just started becoming more and more volatile.
Irv was beginning to lose his grip on the label. In 2003, the federal government raided the offices of Murder Inc., beginning a 2-year-long case against Chris and Irv Gottis. The federal government believed that Murder Inc. was running a multi-million-dollar money laundering operation for Kenneth Supreme McGriff of Queen's Supreme Team. The government was questioning the brothers' affiliation to the notorious drug leader. In 1981, Kenneth formed his own crack cocaine distribution and manufacturing organization, which he called the Supreme Supreme team. In 1987, Kenneth was arrested following a joint state and federal investigation, and in 1989 he pleaded guilty to engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise. He was sentenced to 12 years in prison, and Kenneth was released from prison on parole early in 1994. He linked up with Murder Inc. to create a movie called Crime Partners. The government began to question how the brothers were able to fund a movie directed by the Supreme Leader. This slowly but surely became the beginning of the end for Murder Inc.
What do you think kind of caused the decline in Murder Inc.?
I mean, I think it was pretty obvious, you know, being federally indicted. I'd say.
Right. But they beat that case though.
The damage was done. You know what I mean? Like, that went on for a long time.
The charges against Murder Inc. was for money laundering, racketeering, and murder regarding the killing of rapper E Money Bags. Police had speculated that Supreme was the one to order the 2001 hits on rapper Eric E Money Bag Smith as payback for the murder of Kenneth's close friend Colbert Black Jess Johnson and Big Nose Troy Singleton. According to Ja Rule, Murder Inc. was used as collateral to get to Supreme.
They try to say that Murder Inc. was financed by Supreme's drug money and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what the feds was trying to, you know, push forward, that we was laundering money, and you know, Supreme gave us $2 million and we laundered it for them, and you know, there was a lot of crazy stories and accusations thrown in the mix.
Murder Inc. had to change its name to The Inc. because of how severe the charges were and to put distance away from the bad publicity. The name Murder wasn't suitable anymore since they were now fighting federal charges. Ashanti continued to release music despite what was happening at Murder Inc. Her album Concrete Rose debuted at number 7 and the first week sales were 250,000 units. Outside of the US, the album was less successful compared to her first 2 albums, Ashanti and Chapter 2. The album's lead single Only You and Turn It Up, which did fairly well.
I can't wait to get next to you.
The album and its promotion was vastly overshadowed by the legal troubles that faced Murder Inc. And Irv Gottis, who was arrested on money laundering charges only a month after Concrete Rose's release. As a result, Def Jam severed ties with Murder Inc. in 2005 and refused to promote the album's single, Don't Let Them. With everything going on with Murder Inc., Ashanti decided to take a break from music and focus more on acting. She appeared on the box office movie Coach Carter and The Muppets Wizard of Oz and was working on the classic movie John Tucker Must Die. During this time, Irv and his brother were fighting the federal charges. This was a very vulnerable time as a lot was at stake with the label and the relationship that was built. Irv believes that Ashanti wasn't loyal to Murder Inc. after his arrest, that she used his arrest to get away from Murder Inc., which wasn't too far-fetched, but it's not in the way that Irv thinks. The label was virtually crumbling and federal agents were raiding corporate offices because of the label's affiliation. She did what she felt was best for her career. She released The Collectibles, which was a remix album to Concrete Rose, to fill out her contract with the label. Ashanti felt like she was very loyal to the label. She stood by Murder Inc.'s side and went against her own personal contract with the John Tucker movie to travel to Murder Inc.'s trial on more than one occasion.
What do you think is the misconception? Like, what do you think was what people might have thought?
I think the biggest thing is Irv always says I'm disloyal, you know, and I didn't ride out. And I didn't want to throw up the M's. You know what I'm saying?
During the trial?
Yeah. And I felt like that was so one-sided because, first of all, it wasn't true.
But some people think otherwise. Ashanti and Irv had a personal relationship that began to override Irv's relationship with his wife. He became jealous of Ashanti when he found out she was dating Nelly in 2003 during the NBA game where Ashanti and Nelly were sitting courtside.
I could get past you wanting to be with Nelly.
Sounds like you didn't get past that, just be honest.
Listen, at the time it happens, any man
of course.
is her.
Yeah, right.
The chick you are in love with is with this
country grandma.
You wanna hear how I found out?
How you found out? How did you find out, sir?
I was at home.
And there wasn't no Twitter or Instagram back then.
I was at home. Okay. Listen to this shit. This is God wanted me to find out. I was at home. NBA package. I like watching sports.
Wait, what? Oh, the Worldwide Sports Cup.
D Rose is playing.
D Rose.
Tune into the Chicago game. At home in Tribeca for Dolo. oh my God, what's this commotion going on in the stadium? We just found out what the commotion is. Nelly has walked in with Ashanti.
Oh
my God.
Irv once again used his power to keep Ashanti from being in Nelly's music video as his girlfriend for the single over and over, and they replaced Ashanti with Ciara.
They was in a video. It was that country video. I think he put Ciara in it. But at first it was Ashanti in it. So he had called me because, you know, she's my artist. And I was like, remove her from that fucking video, dog. You understand? It could have been salty. I could have been salty. I could admit it now. I could have been like, yo, you got in the video? Nah, get that shit out of here. She Murder Inc., nigga.
So much was happening to Murder Inc. at one time. When Irv and Chris got arrested, they were also dealing with a rap beef amongst the label that didn't end well. Ja Rule and 50 Cent have been going at it since the 90s. It allegedly started in 1999 when Ja Rule was robbed at gunpoint in New York by one of 50 Cent's affiliates. 50 claims that Ja Rule later ran into them both at the club, Ja acting cold towards 50 following the incident. However, Ja Rule denies seeing them together and says that their beef stems from 50 being snubbed by Murder Inc. during a photo shoot for his single Murder for Life. Either way, this would ignite what some would call a career-ending feud for not just Ja, but Ashanti too. As Ja Rule and 50 Cent went back and forth with each other, Ashanti caught strays because her and Ja were the biggest artists on Murder Inc. This beef began to affect Ja Rule's fanbase as people started gravitating to 50 Cent's Torment, and Ja began losing his popularity. Although 50 did go at Ashanti a bit, he did try to make it known to her that it wasn't personal.
Once the hate was coming in and everyone saw the beef with 50, it was like everyone, you know, people become fickle and they start swapping sides. So regardless of how fire a record may be, if the fans are not into you at the moment, they're not gonna buy into your brand, they're not gonna buy into your music. You know what I mean? And it's like a fad, it's crazy. You know, and that karma don't play, as we see. I'll never forget, we were in LA doing a Christian Dior event. It was myself, Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown. They were like here, I was sitting at a table here, and 50 was here. And one of my attorneys was here, we had security, whatever. And he had like tapped my attorney and was like, yo, tell Ashanti it's nothing personal, it's no beef. You know, I respect her music, and you know, this has nothing to do with her. You know what I mean? And he told me, and I was like, I didn't know what to say. You know, we didn't directly have that conversation. He said it to my attorney said it to me. Obviously, he didn't know that was my attorney. But it was like, okay. Thanks.
Wow. Oh man, every time I hear this beat, I just start thinking about Ashanti. You know how I feel about you, baby.
When the dust began to settle and Ashanti was moving on with her career, that's when she realized the hand Irv played in stunting her success. When she branched out on her own and started working with the likes of people like Keisha Cole and Jermaine Dupri, that's when she saw the bridges that Irv wasn't allowing her to cross. The amount of opportunities that were presented that he turned away from her.
Now, there was a period of time when they said you and Keisha Cole didn't get along, but then y'all did something together.
She had reached out to Irv to do a record together with me, like a full album. And I never knew about it. And I don't know what Irv said to her, but it was something to the extent of,
you ain't on her level. Knock it off, Keisha. That's what he told her.
I mean, look, I don't know what was said, but she took it away. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, that's messed up, because I never even knew.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and that happened a lot. Like in 2008, as I started working with different producers like Jermaine Dupri, Pharrell, Polo, a lot of different people from different areas, everybody was like, yo, we didn't know you were this cool, because the perception was very different.
Once Murder Inc. was acquitted of all charges, they tried to recoup on their loss within the label and reestablish themselves, joining forces with Universal and bringing the group back. Ashanti's fourth album, Declaration, was released on June 3rd, 2008. It wasn't Ashanti's best-selling album, but 2008 also marked a shift in music and the sound, so Ashanti, like many 2000 artists, didn't adapt to the shift. Her single, The Way That I Love You, did fairly well and reached number 2 on the R&B charts. Her other single, Body on Me, was recorded not only for Ashanti's album, but also for Nelly's 5th studio album, Brass Knuckles. This time, Ashanti was allowed to make her cameo, but her relationship with Irv was beginning to really fall apart, and her Declaration album opened her eyes that her business relationship with Irv was irreparable. Her relationship with Nelly further escalated the situation, Ashanti revealing that it got to the point that Irv was sending Ashanti threats.
There were threats. There were threats. You know, me dealing with Nelly, you know, there was death threats, you know. Wow. I mean, I don't know how serious they were because, you know, again, you try to personify this person that you're really not. But when you're saying, not towards me, towards who I was dealing with, you know, you keep doing that, you know. Yeah. So manipulation definitely played a part. Power, flexing, throwing your weight around.
Irv and Ashanti's relationship went from business to personal very quickly early on in her career. Irv claims they were in a relationship while Ashanti says they were never together. They both had a mutual understanding. Ashanti understood her role and Irv got love struck and assumed the relationship was more than what it was. He thought he had Ashanti, that she was gonna ride for him till the wheels fell off, and she did stick by his side, but she did it with boundaries, and that's what ruffled his feathers. That she no longer gave him the attention that she used to. He was cheating on his wife throughout the relationship, and he thought he could leave his wife for her and got burned in the end.
Personal relationship is no longer serving you.
But see, let's clear this up.
Okay.
We're not gonna say relationship. We dealt with each other, but having a was Irv my boyfriend? Was I his girlfriend? Never.
Really?
Never. So,
well, was he married? He was still married at the time, right? He was married.
That's my point. Irv had several girlfriends, you know? So I'm a little confused by the thought, you know what I'm saying? And the label and the description.
This has affected everything Murder Inc. had going on moving forward. Irv would create documentaries and tours on behalf of Murder Inc. and exclude Ashanti. Nelly and Ashanti, on the other hand, their relationship was subtle and they were together but didn't publicly claim each other all the time. They spent almost a decade together on and off, and they had a few memorable moments, like when Nelly made 50 Cent publicly apologize to her.
Made 50 apologize to me in front of the entire audience. And it was funny. And at that time, it was like, okay, cool. You know, no beef, no harm, no foul. We're all good. Nothing, water under the bridge. And that was it.
Wait, so 50 apologized in front of the whole audience. So what did he say exactly?
He said, Ashanti, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ashanti, all right? I'm sorry. And everybody started laughing.
But they each had some growing to do, as they were also unfaithful to each other, which eventually led to their separation. They both moved on after officially breaking up in 2013. The next year, Nelly got into a relationship with his longtime girlfriend, Chantel Jackson, calling it quits 7 years later in 2021. Ashanti moving on and having her own romantic couplings with James Harden and Joyner Lucas. Aside from that, Ashanti is a very private person, and the most her fans see of her is her glow up throughout the years. Ashanti has always been beautiful, but she has matured and grown into herself beautifully. She has taken care of herself and continued to work and release music. Neither her or Nelly's relationship lasted. It wasn't until the infamous Versus that they reunited their flame. Versus is a virtual event that puts R&B icons and hip-hop heads together to go hit for hit. It wasn't until Ja Rule's and Fat Joe's Versus that the pair would reunite.
Across the stage and hugged Ashanti. So during a live conversation with Fat Joe, Remy Martin, Ja, and Ashanti, this is what Ashanti said about the hug.
I haven't seen him or spoken to him since we broke up. I don't know if it's 6 years or something. So I didn't know what to expect.
Is this something still there? Is it like
Stop playing with me, Ja. I wasn't expecting it, but it was positive.
You know Nelly's single now.
Yeah, but I ain't, so.
Lord have mercy. All right, well, Nelly, he was on the Big Tigger show and he talked to Tigger about his thoughts of the whole hug situation.
It wasn't just like that, man. I said what up to everybody, bro. But, you know, it was like, it was there. I didn't want no uncomfortable feelings or nothing like that. And I just said what up. It was all good. But I said what up to everybody. But they ain't kept that.
Ashanti just proved that, you know, whenever you break up with somebody, that's why you got to keep yourself together.
What you mean?
Terrorists.
This hug would set the stone for them to rekindle things as they began dating soon after. This left an old flame very bothered, as he still holds remnants of their past relationship.
Always in style. Good, read it.
Okay.
See if you can see that.
It's, damn, I still can't see. It says, is a memory, I think. You change, what?
Change lives.
You changed lives, yeah, that's what it says.
Change lives.
Forever.
Forever, love Ashanti.
Wait.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That was hilarious.
Irv can continue to speak or feel how he feels about their relationship, but at least he can fully acknowledge now that it's over.
I don't, like, she's done.
Right.
She's fucking done. With me.
Yes.
Ashanti and Nelly look the happiest they've ever been, enjoying each other as they're now veterans in the industry. They are engaged and she is now pregnant with her first child.
How is it different being together in 2024?
The growth has been like superb on both ends. We are both at a place where, like, before sometimes we would argue and walk out, slam the door, and not talk for a few days.
Really?
And now it's kind of like, all right, you good? You know, give me a kiss goodbye, and it's over. You know, it's not like holding on and bickering, and we find out what the resolution is. We apologize.
Ashanti's longevity rides off of her talent and her ability to not let problematic situations disrupt her character. She has remained humble and level-headed through the most unfortunate situations. Being taken advantage of and having to deal with the aftermath of the situation 20 years later, she hasn't let it affect her, and she found happiness being fortunate enough to reconnect with her now husband and having her first baby. She can live off her hits from 20 years ago and still have a successful career. That's true longevity. Well, that concludes today's video. Let me know what you think about Ashanti's longevity below, and make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Toodles.